All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 5:42 p.m. on November 11th, 2025. Today is lesson 2 of our tutorial series for the platformer project. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far. This is going to be a long one, so strap in. We would also like to welcome our new audience on Kick. We're going to be trying it on Kick as well, other than gaming, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. On Kick, it will be under the game development category, even though we're doing tutorials. There's no tutorial category, so I have to go with whatever the next best thing is. So in lesson 1, I want to recap what we did last week. I showed you how to start learning about the asset with the platforms and everything that is inside of the asset, what we built inside. Also, you may have noticed that there is no more walls. That is because I took out the walls because the camera system and the way that Mario games run, you always see it open camera. You don't see it like there's wall. There are walls, but when it's an open course like Bomb Battlefield and like that, that's why we have no wall. Now I'm gonna explain what we're gonna be building today. Today we are building this. We'll be building a little this right here. So what this is a contraption. So the idea is we did this last week, but we did not finish it. So the idea here is to deactivate the traps here to get this star inside of this little house. And then we also have the mud pit right here. This is the mud pit. I know it's not brown, but it is what it is in the asset. We're also going to build a bridge, not bridge, but like a way to get to this other side in this area so that we can get this star. And then for lesson 3, we're going to complete the course, and then we're also going to be starting our first mini project of this particular series. So if you guys do not know, on Kick we do have mini projects here on the tutorial series so that you guys have a chance to do this by yourself without my guidance. The idea for me is to help you get started, but the idea for you is to do it on your own so that you guys can have a basis on game development with the platform project asset. So here is how it's going to look like in game. Make sure you have also a USB controller that connects to your computer so that it's easier for you to play test. So these are the platforms that fall every 3 seconds. These are the switch platforms like the one in Mario Galaxy. We also have coins. We also have hearts. Then this is what you're building today. So you could be building this where if you put the crate down, this trap will deactivate, and then if you also put this crate down here, this other trap will deactivate so you can grab that star. You're also going to build a way to get to this other side. I'm going to glide just to cheat a little bit, but I'm going to show you what you're actually making in a moment. Then from here, we're going to be wall jumping to get to this star right here. There's a star up here. And then we're also going to be building a path to here to get to this star. The courses cannot be completed yet because I have not built a path for this particular area. but that's on purpose because I want to demonstrate what we're doing. All right. Now it's time for actual game development to begin. This is the lesson of the day. So this particular portion here is talking about switches today for this first part of the lesson. So we are going to be making another house just for the sake of tutorial where we're going to have to deactivate a trap by putting a box on a switch. And we're going to have to program some things along the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this house just so that we don't have to do too much. Now, if you want to make your own, you may. I'm just going to copy and paste so that it's easier for me to work with when it comes to like for this tutorial. We're going to be placing this house over here. I'm going to be making the back wall. I forgot to do the back wall. So I'm going to be making the back wall. I'm going to rotate this 90 degree. I'm going to move this over here so that's blocking this area. And then for the bonus, let's put inside a blue coin, which is worth 5 coins. It's not like it's not a collect. It is a collectible, but it's not like Mario Sunshine. So we have blue coin. We're gonna put it over here. I'm gonna put 2 blue coins in here. All right. Now we're gonna be making the traps. If you have a question, let me know. I'll try my best to answer as many as I can. We're also live on our other platform, Kick. So do keep that in mind. We are also on Kick. K-I-C-K, as in like kick a ball. Okay, so we're gonna set up our traps, and that is the flamethrower. Right here. This is a little box collider thing. We're also gonna set up the spike. So we're gonna do spike. And the spike we need is this one right here. In particular, we have to be very careful with which spike we have. I'll explain why in a moment. Okay, I'm gonna move this backward a little bit so I can put the spike here. Now that we have the spike and we have the flamethrower, we now need the button. We need the switch. So what we need to do is we need to find the button switch. And that is, I think they call it a button here. Yes, okay. We need this button. But we're gonna put it, let's put it over here. I know it's easier to place it right here. However, the idea is to make it challenging, like in a video game. Because by rule, you are technically making a video game. So we're going to be putting this button over here. And then we are going to be putting this other button over here. Right down here, actually. And you may wonder what is the water for. You can actually swim. There is swimming mechanics in this game, in this asset. So how do we now, we're going to use the crates. I'm going to bring over 3 crates I made from last time. I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm just going to copy and paste it. Over here. So we have it. And then to grab things, it's the triangle button on Xbox, or it's the PS4, and then If you have a controller that has like the triangle button, that is a grab button, or the higher face button. Okay. Now, once we got that, once we're in here, we are now going to program the button. So, this is the big first part, the programming of the button. So you have this button here, and we have events, and we have on deactivate and on activate. Very important that you understand what these two do. We are going to add an action, an event. The event that we are going to add to both is based on the trap we want to deactivate, based on when we have the crate. To do so, what we want to do is move the spike object. We want the spike object, and we want that to be our action. Runtime, runtime only. Yes. We also want to do that on the other button, on the other section here on deactivate. What's going to happen is now we want to make a function. The function for this particular case is a boolean, or BOOL, which is a symbol, which is a action that determines if something is true or false in the idea of a game. So what we need to do is on the second one, we're going to put toggle. On the first and second one, we're going to be putting toggle set bool. Same thing on the second one, toggle set bool. So we are setting something to be true or false. When we are doing this, we want to check this box right here, toggle set, okay, on the deactivate. We are trying to set the trap to be deactivated once we put a crate on top of the button. So to test this, we are going to play. We're going to play test this to make sure we are on the right track. Now we start at the beginning where we put our lily object. Our lily object is a game object to allow player controller. So let's take a look. Yep, it does work. That does work this way. Now I'm gonna grab my crate and then place the box on top of the button. Be very careful because sometimes it may not work if you put it over here. So be very careful when you place the button on the crate. Now the other one is not deactivated because it's not a set. We only placed the spike on top of this button. This button is going to be deactivating the spike trap, but not the fire trap because we never set it to the fire trap. We are setting this button to the fire trap. So be very careful. One button does not deal two areas, two traps. So we're going to deactivate the fire trap by pressing this button by using the exact same concept. We're going to add an event on both, place the function to actually before that, we need to set the fire trap to our button runtime, which is going to be called flamethrower. Oops, we want to do it on both. Do not forget to put it on both, because if you forget to do it, it's not going to do anything. So on activate, the function is going to be toggle bool, set bool. And the other one on deactivate, we're going to press toggle set bool check mark on the flamethrower. Then we're going to play test. then we're gonna start polishing our level, and I want to show you guys something cool before ending the lesson. And then next lesson is our first mini project on this particular asset. So when we press triangle or your grab button right there, that's the spike trap. And then we go to the fire trap. That's be over there. Oh, I got very unlucky. There we go. We deactivated the traps. As you guys can see, if I decide to remove the crate, the activation of the spike trap is going back. So it's checking to see if the option is true or false. If it is true that the spike trap is deactivated, it's going to do that. If it's false, it's going to do that. So be very careful. Don't do the other way around, because if you do the other way around, you have to reverse it. Okay, same thing with the fire trap. If I remove the box, it goes on. If I place the box, it goes off. So that's very simple. Looks simple, but you have to remember, you have to have the action of toggle.set on both the activate and deactivate, and then you have to set the runtime only to the object of choice. Then on the second one, on deactivate, you check the mark on the second object right here. So now, right here. Now we get to the fun stuff. How do we get from here to here without the use of the glider? You probably spotted the solution already. It's this little blue line. What is this blue line? This blue line is actually a spline. It's a spline. Now, by rule, this is already activated for you from Unity because of the asset pack. But what a spline is where you can draw a line, but you can curve it based on midpoints, based on points where you click it. And I'm going to show you how to do this. So what you're actually making is a rail, but not just any rail. You are making a grind rail here. What is a grind rail? If you have not played Sonic Adventure 2, my goodness, you are behind. But basically, it's that grind rail from Sonic Adventure game. It's basically like that. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So I'm going to start it from the beginning. What you need is going to be, we're going to start from the beginning so that you understand how to make a spline. This is actually not as bad as you think. So we are going to go to our hierarchy. We are going to go ahead and make a game object. We're going to make a spline, and we're going to draw the splines tool. What this does is, as you can see here, with a blue thing, a blue indicator on the map, and we're going to draw our spline. The way we're going to do this is we're going to click on a point, and then you're going to see a black line follow. Anywhere you move your mouse, the next point is going to follow. When you want to go to the next point, you just click on it, and then you can curve it to wherever you want. Okay, we're going to go over here. And then we're going to go over here. And then we're going to go over here. And then we're going to go over here. Okay? And then we're going to drop it over here and then press enter. There's our spline. Alright, that's a spline. The next thing we want to do is make sure it's actually in bounds. So I have to move this to where I can actually grind on it. Because right now it's not grindable. Because it's out of bounds. And actually it's on the kill floor. It's actually in the kill zone right now. If I decided to take this little ride, it ain't gonna be nice. So I'm gonna move this as much as I can. Let's go over here. Okay, so it's gonna go like this. That's the shape. All right. The next thing we need to do is add a component, and that component is called a mesh collider. We also need another component called a mesh renderer. We want to render this mesh. We also want to add another component, except for this one, it's not in the component list. It's actually a material, and that is called rail, R-A-I-L, and you just drag it over. We actually have another component called spline extrude, excuse me. There's a rail. So when we do this,
Hold on. Can you please put in mute?
why?
Can you please put in mute? Are we gonna bring now?
No,
Why?
9:45.
No. Before we eat, we're gonna do that, and we need to talk.
Alright.
What time is it? It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Why at 9? Why? What at 9 something?
After dinner, I was.
No, we're going to do it early.
Okay.
We're just going to shower and then we're gonna do it.
Okay. Anyway, so when we grind this, we're gonna go way off the map. So I'm gonna show you how this looks like. All right. So we're gonna make sure you have this spline extrude. Don't forget that. Let's go ahead and play it. So when we do the spline extrude, you're gonna notice that we have the mesh renderer as well. If you do not have this, it's not gonna work. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. Don't forget that this is an interactive object. The interactive object is going to be tagged. You want to go to interactive rail. Layer rail is number 7. Because if you do not do this, it will not act as a rail. It will just be a regular object suspended in space. So we have this rail. Okay, good. You see how it ends right there, right? So this is not a good rail, but I just wanted to show you guys what we're gonna be doing. Okay. Okay, so let's actually remove that because that is not a good rail, but I wanted to show you to you so that you guys know what we're doing here. So this is part that is the next part here. So now you learned how to do the traps and you learn how to activate switches. Here you're learning how to make a spline so that we can make a rail to a certain part of the map. What I'm going to do now is we're going to add an object to allow us to essentially complete the level, but we're going to make it a little bit more interesting. Okay. The end of level thing is right here. That's our goal. The end of level little extender here. So we want to get to this platform. But the way we're going to do this is we are going to use a spline to make multiple rails and path. Okay, So we are gonna make another spline. So just to get you more instant, while we can do copy and paste, the reason why I don't want to do copy and paste is so that you guys can understand the the process of making a spline and a rail. So we are gonna draw where I actually have it done for you here. So this is the second one. So the second one is going to be right here. I just did not do the render process. So this is a new spline. We're going to add two components, mesh renderer and mesh collider. You must have both. The second thing we need is a mesh, is a spline extrude. And then we need the material. We need that material here. And there you go. There's our material. There's our rail. And then remember, on the top, you gotta tag it with interactive rail and then rail, which is number 7. All right. Now, we're gonna be doing something really cool here, but first let's play test to make sure that we have everything right. Okay, so we have this, so that's good. And then we have this one, which I need to fix. For some reason, the camera is a little iffy there, and I think I know why. So let me just, yeah, I think I know why. I think that is why. Let's just play test here first. So, okay, good. Now it's gonna get a little bit more interesting. So we have our little thing here, rail. Yeah, I gotta fix the camera there in that part. I don't know why it's doing that particular. I think I know why. But let me just make sure of one thing. I just want to make sure that I did not close it. Okay, we're not closed. That's good. Okay, that's 2 knots. Making sure that's not. Okay, we're good. Oh, okay. We need to make a new renderer here because it is copying the first one. It might not work. That's why. But now that you know how to do this, let's now put everything together. So at the end here, we're gonna be putting everything together. So I'm actually gonna remove the water just so that it's not flashing. But I am gonna keep that button because the next thing I want to talk about is going to be about stars and collectibles. So now we actually need to remove it from the, we're gonna have to go from the main menu. So the reason for that is because by rule, if you do not put it from the main menu, nothing is going to save. And even if we're doing playtesting, nothing is going to save. So for this, we need to go to scenes and we need to go to main menu. Now, The way this is going to work is this. We are going to play test from the main menu. Gonna show you why we're gonna do this in a moment. I'm gonna remove this save data just so that I can start fresh. So we have now, as you guys can see, I have 3 levels here, but these 2 are gonna be part of the mini project. So we are gonna start with Grassland Trainer. So as you guys can see, it's our level, but no stars. So we actually now can collect coins. So as you guys can see, it does count now. There are no enemies here because we have not added them. I removed them because there were some errors that I need to look at. So as you can see, we have our coins being collected and all that good stuff. We have our trap that needs to be put away. This is the one with the star. So as you can see, it's going to be added to the collection of star. And then we go to our second star, which is over here. Which is up here. Nice. Our third star is over here. And then we have to get to that platform, which is the home platform, the level complete platform. And that's how it is. So now obviously I cheated a little bit because I was dashing. However, I'm going to explain that for dashing it's L1. For the glider it's L2. It's R2, R1. So now as you guys can see though, our level has a custom picture and a data of 38 coins, 1 minute, 38 seconds. That is that data and the 3 stars. That data is coming from the level itself. Now, if we play again, it's only going to be saving the best score. So if we beat this again at 1 minute 30, then it's going to save 1 minute 30. Now, let's talk about how do we get our custom photo other than me taking a picture of the level. So the way that works is we go to the level that we are making. What we want to do is playtest from the level. We playtest from the level. Let's go ahead and play it a little bit. We play it a little bit, and then let's say at some point in the level we like something about the level, and we want to take a picture of this. Alright, now this is normally where you take a screenshot, and you do. So I am going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to take a screenshot. I'm going to be using the snipping tool. I'm going to press new. I'm going to take a picture of the path of the part I want to take a picture of. Very important that you don't include anything you don't want to include. So I'm going to take a picture of this portion of the level. And I'm going to give it a name. Alright, once I've done that, I'm going to remove playtesting. I'm going to go back to main menu, the scene. I'm going to go to the game prefab. Okay, When we go to the game prefab, go to levels, and you're going to see grassland trainer or new level or test level, whatever you played it. Okay, what you want to do is general settings, name, whatever the name is, the no enemies to play with, it is the description, the image. Now here, this is very important. It has to be considered a sprite. So what we do is right click, we go to import new asset. Our brand new asset is the picture that we just took. What we want to do next is on the right side, you're going to see a few things on the inspector. In the inspector, you're going to see texture type. Click that, turn it into sprite, 2D, and UI. Because a sprite is also considered UI element, we have to do this. And then we're going to press apply. Right? Now, once we have done that, it's going to apply all the good stuff, okay? Now go back to game and go to our level we just made, in this case, grassland trainer. And now we're going to drag our little thing that we just made. Oops. Let me just make sure that it's good there. Single, actually, pixels per unit is single. And then press apply. Okay. The way you can tell if we did this correctly, there is an arrow on the screenshot thing that we just made. That is our sprite now. Now we go back to game, prefab, we go to levels, we go to the level that we want to have the new picture. I'm going to select our new one. Now you're going to see some settings here that we're going to be talking about right now. Locking settings is only if you want this level locked when you want to have the, let's say, new game. You have a level before this. If you want 3 stars, for the player to have 3 stars before unlocking this level, then you press this button, locked, and then you put required stars 3. Okay. Now, start level settings. The scene in this particular case is new test level, but that's because I never renamed it. Okay, finish level settings. Now here's where you can have some fun. You can unlock the next level immediately, or the next scene is going to be back to the main menu. Okay, that's how that works. Okay, now to showcase how this looks from the main menu, we're going to press the play button. We're going to play test it. Okay. Tap to start. I'm going to remove this again. And then as you guys can see here, we have our grassland trainer level. But look at the screenshot. It changed because we changed it because it was a sprite. So if you remember the original Mario Brother, the one for the Super Mario Super Nintendo NES, you know how they have a level preview, right? This is kind of like that. Okay. So when we play the level, we have everything that we just did. Okay, so I don't need to go over that again. Now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to do something different. I am going to stop playtesting. I'm going to the next level, which is Grassland Trainer 2, which is going to be our introduction to climbing things. We're going to be doing something with that, but for this particular example, we're going to lock it until we get to 2 stars or more. And the new scene is going to be, I believe I called it, let me see what I called it, because this is very important. I called it Grassland Trainer 2. Okay? Be very careful. The the name of the scene must match together. If it's not matching, then it won't work. So, we have Grassland Trainer 2. Introduction to climbing things, we're going to lock it until you get 2 stars, and the scene will be Grassland Trainer 2, and then that's it. And then that's it right there. Control save. So now we're going to be playing from the main menu. And then we're going to delete that, load this. So as you guys can see here, I can go from Grassland Trainer 1 to Grassland Trainer Final. But that's because, as you can see, it's skipping this middle one, Grassland Trainer 2. Because I locked it at 2 stars. So we are going to play this level, and we're going to grab 2 stars from this level. Any 2 stars will do. You just need 2 and you're good. So if you want this one and the wall jumping one, that's up to you. Alright? Oops. I did not place it in the right spot. So as you guys can see here, there's my first star. Okay? Now I do want to talk on stars in a moment, because it's a very important thing that we need to talk about stars. Actually, I'm gonna grab this. And then we're gonna go back. Actually, I put a wall box collider. What I want to do now is I want to get over there. And there we go. So as you guys can see, I have 2 stars out of the possible 3. I finished at 59.39 seconds with 6 coins. Now in the middle we have Grassland Trainer 2. I unlocked this level. Okay. Now what happens if we need more stars? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say that for level 3 final, we're gonna say it's locked, but at 5 stars. How do we do 5 stars? Well, we need to go to that particular level, Grassland Trainer 2. I'm gonna press save. What I'm going to do now, this is not complete yet, obviously, because we're gonna be doing something with this. But for the sake of tutorial, I'm going to say that the stars are here. So what we want to do is star here. We want the one with the blue box filled in. This one right here. But what I'm going to do first is we are going to change the collectible script. There is a identifier tag. Be very careful. It has to have a identifier. We're going to make a new ID. And it's random. Okay? It's random. The reason for this is because if you do not make a new ID, it's going to trigger 1 star, 2 star. 2 star for 1 collectible star. You don't want that. So a new ID is beneficial here. The next thing you want to do is copy and paste. Now again, for this particular example, we're just copy and pasting because I want to make it a faster lesson. But don't do this just for the sake of faster lesson. I'm just doing it because I want to make sure that we have enough time for the rest of the asset pack. Okay, and because there's one more big thing here that I want to go over, but that's going to be another time. It's actually called 2D level. Yes, we can actually make a 2D level in a 3D map, but we're going to be doing that another time. So randomize ID. We're now going to go back to the main menu from the asset pack. We can press save. We're going to go ahead and play. We're going to press start. We're going to go delete our save data. Now, as you guys can see, I can't even scroll past this part unless I use the mouse. So as you can see, it has 5-star. Okay, let's play the first level. So where is that 5 stars going to be? So we're going to collect our first 2, and then we're going to collect our 3 from the beginning of the next level. Be very careful of the box placement. There we go. Now don't save and quit, because if you do that, it won't actually save. Okay? Be very careful with that. Oops. I did not mean to do that. So now if we want to collect the 3rd star, we can. But for the sake of the tutorial, we're gonna skip the 3rd. We're gonna jump, dash, glide. Okay, so that's 2 stars. Now we need 3. So what it does is it went from 5 to 3, because the way it works is we collected 2 stars from level 1. 5 minus 2 is 3. So we only need 3 stars to unlock level 3 from level 2. Hold on, I forgot to do one thing here. I kind of figured it out. Okay, so I never did a end level thing here for level 2. But as you already saw, the way that the level interacts, it will, let's say 99 stars. You collect like 98 stars from other levels and you only need 1 star left. Then you do that one. Now, scenes. Let's take a look at Grassland 2. Grassland Trainer 2. Let's see what happened. We need the end level thing. There we go. Okay. So we need the end level there. We need to make sure that our IDs for the stars are different. And then for the level, make sure that everything is good here. Yes. Yes. Game wise, make sure that the level here is going to be the exact same. This one is not, because I did not put it here. So level data. So test level needs to go. So press minus. And then the 2D level needs to go because we're not using that. So general settings is going to be grass, land, trainer 2. Description. second test level. Your image for the thing is just gonna be our typical the regular one, just so that we don't have too many things in there. Scenes. And let me see one thing. Let me see what the game said here. Okay, just press the plus button and we're just gonna draw this one. And then Grassrod Trainer 2. Let me just make sure that I am doing this correctly. Now, now here's how this works. So as you can see, it's still at 2, and that's still at 5. I'm going to speed up the tutorial by placing our stars for the first level. Right, no, that's not level 1. Right here. Just so that you understand the idea of the stars. So I'm gonna look at the star. Yeah, right here. Okay, now we go back. We're gonna get the star again. We're just gonna put it here for the sake of the tutorial, because I want to show you guys what it does after. Okay, so we're good there. New ID as always. Again, there's millions of combination for the ID. Just be very careful that's not the same. Okay, very good. Let's see. Oops, I did not mean to start it from there. I did not mean to start it from there. We have to go from the main menu. So, game. Let's see, Grassland Trainer 2. Okay, good. We're gonna go play from the main menu. The reason why you always play from the main menu is because if you play from the level, the data is going to be very different, and you don't want that. So be very careful. So we have our 3 stars. We're gonna go ahead and finish the level. We're gonna play it normally, just so that it's an actual game and not just assets placed together. Okay, very good. So we have level 2 unlocked. And I think the reason why it's not loading is because I did not set it up right. So, hold up. Let me just make sure that we have everything here. Yeah, I'm going to copy the game asset. Copy. Because what I want to make sure of is if I did this right. So, be very careful of like um things that you don't want to do here. Because if we don't do it right, it'd be very hard. So for the game asset, we're gonna copy, we're gonna remove this game one, and we're gonna put this over here. We're gonna rename this because we put a parentheses. We're gonna copy this again onto our third level. Grassland final, save. We're gonna remove this game and we're gonna plus paste this game. Okay. We should be good. Alright. So now we're gonna play from the main menu again. Okay, so we play from the main menu. We get our stars. We're gonna play the level. Alright. Oh. Oh, that's why. Okay. That's why. So, file. So what happened was I did not set this to an open scene. So build profiles, don't forget to open, don't forget to put in your scenes correctly. Do not forget that, because if you don't, it's not going to work correctly. So we need to make sure all of our scenes are in there. Now it's gonna look like a lot. So we have grassland trainer. Oh, that's why. That's why. Okay. You see how you see why you see why spelling matters in game development? Look at what I put there. Grassland train 2, not trainer. That's incorrect. So we need to rewrite this as grassland trainer 2. So one misspelling can do anything. So be very careful when you're programming things, especially as a game developer. Now, let's take a look. So we get our 3 stars. We finish the level. We have to finish the level for it to count, by the way. And good. Okay, now that we have done that, we go to the next level. And as you can see here, we have our stars. Now again, this looks like the same thing as the other one. Different ID, we're good. And now the final level. As you guys can see here, we have all 3 stars from both levels. Because this only required 5, we have 6. So we are good. If we go to this one though, it's gonna be looking the same. Because we haven't done anything here yet. Okay? Now, next is our mini project. Let me introduce you to that. Let me introduce you to our little mini project here. So, obviously, this is a platforming game. And I know for sure that we're going to draw inspiration from our classic games. Mario, for example. So, I want to draw inspiration. Okay, when we look at levels from a Mario game, in particular a 3D Mario game, oops. So a 3D Mario game, let's say Super Mario 3D World. Let's see a level. Now, as you guys can see here, this is the start of the game. This is level 1-1, literal 1-1, okay? So, the reason why I want to show you this is because we want to draw inspiration from our favorite game, Super Mario 3D World, for example. As you guys can see, for the most part, it's very similar to what we have been doing in the platformer engine. The platforming engine, right? The only difference, obviously, is that it's looking straight ahead, and there's no stairs on the left and right. That's because it is a Mario game. But our goal for this little mini project is to make a mini level inspired by World 1-1 of Mario World, Mario 3D World to be exact. But keep in mind, this is going to take inspiration and not a replication. This is not a replication challenge. This is an inspiration challenge. So can we make a level like this inspired by level 1-1? And it does not have to be Super Mario 3D World. It can be any Mario game that is 3D. Or if you are inspired by Sonic, you can do the same thing because of the grind rails that we saw. So the mini project is going to be for next Tuesday at 5:45. We are going to inspire ourselves to make a level inside a platformer engine, platformer project, and we are going to try to take inspiration from a level of our choice. Let's say level 1-1 of Super Mario 3D World, and we're going to inspire, like, what can we do with our new toys that I just gave you for today. All right. Now note, do not replicate it, get inspired. Replication is destruction in terms of game development. We have seen that before. We want inspiration, not replication. Because it's so tempting to redraw World 1-1 of Super Mario Brothers. It's very tempting. It's like the easiest thing you can do. Right? But can you be inspired by what we have done in the last 2 weeks and make something out of a game that we can be inspired by? That's the challenge when we do these mini projects. Or I have another inspiration for you. In Super Mario 64, in the volcano, you notice that it's going up and we have poles, right? So here, the inspiration challenge can be, this is part of the level, right? You see how it's going up and there's a platform, there's a thing that falls down. With using what we have done, with using what we have, can you be inspired to do a remake of a level from a video game that you love based on what we have learned in the last few weeks? Okay, that's the challenge. That's our goal for our mini projects. Get inspired by either remaking a level or changing the level in a way with the asset in mind where you can have a lot of fun. And remember, in indie game development, you are not limited to anything. Your limitation is imagination. Can you imagine something in a level and say, hey, I think that's a good idea for this level? Put it in. Play test everything. This is why any tutorial that I show you or I give you as a project or as a video, that I tell you play test everything. It doesn't matter if you just put one new thing in. It can be the most easiest thing. And then you play test it and it doesn't work. So that's why when you see people online as a game developer or game programmer and even indie game dev that says playtest everything, they're not wrong. You gotta playtest everything. Even in TV shows, does it always work? No, but you have to test it. Playtest everything. That is not just a statement, that is a law. Okay, moving on. Um, Grind rails. That one might be its own lesson too. I might do something cool with that. I don't wanna say anything yet because it's in the planning process. But I will tell you, I think I can figure out a nice remake of Hot Footed into the Volcano with what we have in our at disposal. The idea here is try not to spend money when making a game with the asset. It's okay to spend money to make a game. Just try your best not to do too much, especially if you're brand new. And I get it. It's okay. I get it. You're using an asset made by somebody else, $45 US, right? And you want to make a game. You want this. You want that. But there comes a time as indie game developers, you don't need everything other than the asset pack. And that's okay. Your first game is going to suck and that's okay. Because if your first game doesn't suck, then you cannot improve under that. My swimming teacher once said, and I'm going to quote her on this, okay? If you aim for perfection, you're not going to be improving. Because if you aim for perfection, then that's it. You can't improve other than perfection. If your game is perfect already to start, what is there to improve other than making new innovation? But if you make a new innovation, you're going to have to playtest anyway. So you gotta have to remember, don't aim immediately for perfection on your first game. It doesn't hurt. I get it. Failure is not an option. Even Yoshinobu Yamamoto said so. But keep in mind, perfection is nice. Is nice. Improvement is better. So when you publish your first game, think about it this way. Can I improve on this for my next game? Can I improve this mechanic or balance this mechanic or balance this object? If the answer is yes, you are on the right path. If the answer is no because you aim for perfection right away, that's not good. That's not a good game developer mindset. I get it. You want to make money. I get it. You want to be Power World because that's the best game right now, right? I get it. You want to be like Nintendo. I know they're greedy, but you get my point. The idea here is don't aim for perfection right away. Because if you do, there is no improvement. And if there's no improvement, it's very hard to raise the bar. You get it? Raise the bar. That's the concept we're going here. All right. So remember, don't forget, perfection is nice. Improvement is better. And remember, if if you have questions, don't just um let it fly by as if it was nothing. Remember, any question, especially in game development, indie game development, or anything in life, is not a dumb question. There is no such thing as a dumb question in game development. No such thing. If somebody tells you there's a dumb question, don't ignore them because because there are questions that are going to be answered that somebody's going to get is going to benefit from. Okay? Remember, I know one developer made schedule 1. Okay? One developer made schedule 1. That game made over $2 million in one day. I get it. You guys want to make money. But remember, there are no such thing as dumb questions, especially in indie game development. Next lesson, we are going to be doing our mini project on Tuesday, November 18th. We're going to be taking inspiration and we're going to try to get inspired and make a level in this engine using our knowledge what we have learned. Okay, that is the lesson for next Tuesday. And then in 2 weeks, we are going to be doing our first ever 2D, 3D level, where we have 2D level inside a 3D engine. And it's allowed here because it's in the asset. So that's what we have for you guys. That's coming up in 2 weeks. And then we have another mini project for that level. It's going to kind of be like a Mario. All right? And you're going to find that out in about 2 weeks. Next week, mini project, 2 weeks, we're going to be doing 2D. Enjoy, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for our next Mario ROM hack.